There is a very specific kind of tension that exists when two people have feelings for each other, but neither is brave enough to admit it. It's not loud. It's not obvious. It's quiet, heavy, and psychologically intense. According to female psychology, this tension is one of the strongest indicators that emotions are present but being suppressed. You may notice that when you're together, the atmosphere feels different, conversations feel deeper, pauses feel longer, and eye contact carries more meaning than words. This is not coincidence. This is emotional awareness without verbal confirmation. Women especially are highly sensitive to emotional undercurrents. Even when they decide not to express their feelings, their subconscious reacts. She may act normal on the surface, but internally, her mind is constantly scanning your behavior, your tone, your energy, your reactions. If she feels something, she knows you feel something too, even if you never say it. One of the strongest psychological signs is emotional restraint. When a woman has feelings but doesn't admit them, she often becomes more controlled, not less. She watches what she says. She avoids certain topics. She may pull back right when conversations start to feel too personal. This isn't disinterest, it's self-protection. From your side, you might do the same. You joke instead of confessing. You keep things light when you actually want to go deeper. Both of you are playing a silent game. If I don't say it, I can't be rejected. And this is where psychology becomes powerful. When two people suppress mutual attraction, the brain creates tension through microsignals. Longer eye contact than necessary, subtle changes in voice tone, nervous laughter, physical awareness, noticing small details about each other. These are unconscious behaviors. They happen even when the conscious mind says, "Don't feel this." Female psychology explains this as emotional leakage. Feelings that aren't expressed verbally will always escape through behavior. Another key sign is situational jealousy. Not dramatic jealousy, but quiet discomfort. She may not say anything when you mention another woman, but her energy changes. Her responses shorten. Her interest temporarily drops. This happens because the brain perceives a threat to an unclaimed emotional bond. What's important to understand is this. When feelings are mutual but unspoken, both people are aware of the risk. Admitting emotions changes the dynamic forever. Silence, on the other hand, keeps the connection safe, but also unresolved. This is why moments between you feel charged but unfinished. Female psychology shows that women often wait for emotional certainty before opening up. She may feel deeply, but unless she senses stability, clarity, or safety from you, she will choose silence over vulnerability. Not because she doesn't care, but because she cares too much. And here's the most revealing part. When neither of you admits your feelings, the connection doesn't fade, it intensifies. Suppressed emotions don't disappear. They accumulate. This creates a loop. You feel something. You hide it. She senses it. She hides hers. The tension grows, and suddenly simple interactions feel meaningful. Ordinary moments feel memorable. Silence feels louder than conversation. This is not friendship. This is unspoken emotional attachment. In the next section, we'll break down the behavioral signs women show when they're emotionally involved but pretending they're not, and how to recognize them before it's too late. When a woman has feelings she refuses to admit, her behavior becomes a contradiction. She wants closeness, yet she fears exposure. According to female psychology, this inner conflict creates very specific patterns that most people completely misunderstand. One of the clearest signs is inconsistent availability. She might reply instantly one day and disappear the next. She may show high interest in person but seem distant over text. This is not manipulation, it's emotional regulation. Her mind is constantly balancing desire and self-control. When emotions rise too high, she pulls back to regain control. Women are emotionally intuitive. If she senses that admitting her feelings could lead to rejection, uncertainty, or loss of power, she will unconsciously create distance even from someone she deeply likes. Another powerful sign is protective curiosity. She asks questions about your life, but in a careful way. She wants to know who you spend time with, what you value, what kind of future you imagine. But she avoids questions that would directly reveal her emotional investment. This allows her to feel close without exposing herself. You'll also notice heightened emotional awareness. She remembers small details you mentioned once. She notices changes in your mood. She reacts strongly, internally, when your energy toward her shifts. This level of awareness doesn't exist in casual connections. It appears only when emotions are present but unclaimed. Female psychology explains this as selective emotional focus. When a woman feels something, her attention narrows. You become emotionally significant, even if she pretends you're just someone she knows. Another overlooked sign is controlled vulnerability. She may share personal stories, past struggles, or emotional opinions, but she stops just short of full openness. She reveals enough to create connection, but not enough to feel exposed. This is a test, whether conscious or not. She's watching how you respond. Do you listen? Do you respect her boundaries? Do you feel safe? If you pass this test, her emotional attachment deepens, even if she still says nothing. Then there's emotional mirroring. When you're calm, she's calm. When you're distant, she becomes reserved. When you're warm, she softens. This mirroring happens because her emotions are already connected to yours. She may deny it verbally, but her behavior tells the truth. The most telling sign of all is hesitation at emotional turning points. Moments where feelings could be revealed, long eye contact, meaningful silence, late-night conversations are often interrupted. She may change the subject, laugh nervously, or create a distraction. These are defense mechanisms. Her emotions are close to the surface, and she's trying to push them back down. Female psychology teaches that women don't hide feelings because they are weak. They hide them because emotions are powerful, and once released, they change everything. If a woman truly feels nothing, there is no tension, no inconsistency, no emotional awareness, no hesitation. Silence only exists where feelings are strong. In the next section, we'll uncover the shared psychological signs that prove both of you feel the same way, and why the situation can't stay unresolved forever. When feelings exist on both sides, something powerful happens. The connection starts to operate beyond words. According to psychology, mutual but unspoken attraction creates synchronization. Your emotions, behaviors, and reactions begin to align without conscious effort. One of the strongest shared signs is emotional timing. You both seem to reach out at the same moments. When one of you pulls back, the other senses it instantly. Conversations restart right when distance becomes uncomfortable. This isn't coincidence. It's emotional attunement, two people unconsciously responding to each other's internal states. Another undeniable sign is shared restraint. You both avoid certain topics. You both stop yourselves from saying too much. You both feel the moment right before something important could be said, and neither crosses the line. This mutual hesitation only exists when both people are aware of what's at stake. If one person felt nothing, there would be no reason to hold back. Then there's mutual jealousy without ownership. Neither of you claims the other, yet both feel uneasy when a third person appears. You may downplay it. She may hide it, but the emotional response is real. Female psychology shows that women become especially sensitive to perceived competition when emotional attachment exists, even if it's unspoken. A powerful sign most people ignore is unfinished conversations. You often feel like there's more to say. Moments end too soon. Silence feels meaningful, not awkward. This happens because both of you are emotionally engaged, but verbally restrained. The connection feels incomplete because it is. Another shared signal is heightened presence. When you're together, distractions fade. Phones are forgotten. Time feels different. This level of presence doesn't happen in casual interactions. It only appears when both people are emotionally invested and subconsciously prioritizing each other. Psychologically, this is called mutual emotional focus. And finally, the most revealing sign of all, neither of you can fully move on. You may try to distract yourselves. You may meet other people. But the emotional pull remains. Why? Because unresolved emotions don't close, they linger. Female psychology explains that when two people feel the same but stay silent, the bond becomes psychologically stronger over time, not weaker. The mind seeks closure, and until that happens, the connection stays active. This is why the situation feels intense, confusing, and emotionally charged. Silence feels safer than truth, but also heavier. And here's the reality most people avoid. If feelings are truly mutual, the situation will eventually demand resolution, either through honesty or distance. Unspoken emotions can't exist forever. They either evolve, or they fade with regret. The choice eventually is unavoidable. Silence is rarely an accident. In situations where feelings are mutual but unspoken, Silence becomes a psychological strategy. According to female psychology, not confessing emotions is often less about fear of rejection and more about fear of emotional loss. Admitting feelings changes the structure of the relationship. Once words are spoken, there is no going back to how it was. This is why both of you feel the weight of the moment, but choose restraint instead. For women especially, emotional expression is tied to perceived safety. If she does not feel certainty about your intentions, your consistency, or your emotional maturity, she will remain quiet, even if her feelings are strong. Silence allows her to stay close without risking disappointment. Another reason silence feels safer is emotional power balance. Whoever admits feelings first becomes vulnerable. Female psychology shows that women are highly aware of emotional positioning. If she senses that revealing her feelings could place her at a disadvantage or give you emotional control, she will wait. Not because she wants power, but because she wants protection. From your side, the same dynamic exists. You may fear changing the dynamic, losing the connection, or being seen differently. So both of you unconsciously agree on silence even though neither of you says it. This creates what psychology calls mutual emotional avoidance. You're emotionally close, but verbally distant, and this distance creates intensity. The mind fills in what words do not. Small gestures become meaningful. Simple interactions feel loaded. Silence itself becomes communication. Female psychology also explains the role of anticipatory regret. She may imagine two futures. One where she confesses and loses you. One where she stays silent and keeps the connection. As long as silence preserves proximity, she will choose it, even if it's emotionally exhausting. But here's the hidden truth. Silence doesn't prevent loss. It only delays clarity. Over time, unspoken feelings create emotional fatigue. The tension that once felt exciting starts to feel heavy. The mind seeks resolution, either through expression or withdrawal. This is why these connections often end in one of two ways. A sudden, honest conversation, a slow emotional distancing that feels confusing and painful. Female psychology shows that women rarely stay in emotional uncertainty forever. When the emotional cost of silence becomes greater than the fear of truth, something changes. She either opens up, or she begins to detach. Understanding this is crucial, because silence is not neutral. It's a temporary state, and every temporary state eventually demands a decision.